Please give a warm welcome to writer-director Alireza Khatami. Oh my goodness, Alireza, so excited to have you here. What an amazing, amazing film. Congratulations. I want to start to ask you about your work with Bartosz Sieniawski. We're used to seeing, at least I am used to seeing films that go inward in cinema, introspective films. And they're usually shot in the dark and indoors. Instead, your film is a journey of introspection and inward, and you and Bartosz shoot outdoors. And all the important conversations take place outside. Can you tell us about that dynamic?
We start with the hard questions here, okay? Well,
I'm sorry?
Of all, we start with the hard questions.
Oh, well, they're only going to get harder, so.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. What a turnout. I really appreciate it. This is a small movie, and I'm humbled. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. At heart, I'm a cinephile, and I'm mischievous. I love to take cinema to places that hasn't been there before.
Correct.
So, exactly, I looked at cinema, I said, every time we want to self-reflection, we go to a dark place, we go to quote-unquote the closet, right? But when I do self-reflection, when I think, I feel kind of lonely, and I wanted to capture that sense of loneliness. So I thought, we'll go out of the city. And on the other side, in the city, the structure of patriarchy is very visible. As you can see in the film, there is the gaze of the patriarch. Yes. Everywhere. There is the flags, the picture in the hospitals, the office. He's everywhere. So I thought, in order to reflect on that, he needs to come out of that system for a minute, come out. Mm-hmm. And placing him in the vistas, in the landscape, could be an interesting, contrast, and also a fresh look at that convention in cinema, and that's why I took him out in the mountains.
And you guys focus on landscapes, the beautiful mountains that, signal his sense of isolation, and also the weight of the landscape. Obviously that was intentional, correct?
And also the scale.
Scale, yes.
That we feel the loneliness, we feel being there, Mm-hmm. And that kind of felt right. And
yeah.
That's what we did.
I also noticed. Yeah, go ahead.
It was cheaper to shoot outside.
Well, that's a good.
This is a movie on shoestring budgets.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we would never know. Going back to your work with Bartosz, I noticed that with Ali, the main character, the camera is very static. But when Reza comes into the picture, the gardener, the camera becomes handheld. And after the murder, there is a combination of the two in the camera work. Can you tell us about?
Very sharp observation. Usually with my cinematographer, what I always love to do is to come with a simple concept as the guiding principle. It will be our compass. Like in my first feature film, the rule was, if there is magic, camera moves. Otherwise, it does not. And we always did that. Here, we have two characters. Ali, who is reserved, who is passive, who is not able to take action, right? On the other hand is Reza, who is action, 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 and not much of thinking. And I made my cinematographer, Bartosz, sign on a piece of napkin that when it's Ali, we are static, or Max, we move it very slowly on a dolly. Right. If it's Reza, it's handheld. Mm-hmm. Once Reza dies and Ali overcomes Reza and earns that maturity, then the camera can be fluid, can be handheld. Now Ali has earned that position in the world, right?
Yes.
So there were many times that Bartosz wanted to do something else, and I had my napkin saying,
You actually had a napkin,
I
and
actually
you
had a
actually
napkin.
waved, and
Yeah.
like.
Actually, one of the saddest things for me on the end of the shoot was that I lost the napkin, because I wanted to frame it and send it to Bartosz.
Oh.
You know, because we had so many hours. Like, let's move on. No, you signed it. You know, beautiful.
Also, tell us about the fact that, you know, the mirror, the fact that there's so many red flags, some symbolism that happens throughout the film. You show us the mirror, which you have been a telltale sign to the audience that something is going to happen here. And then also you have the digging of the water, and you have the digging of the wave, of the grave. There's always signaling to the audience that there's stuff beneath the surface.
So I speak Farsi, and at heart I'm a failed poet. You know, so
I wouldn't call you a fake
but I love poetry very much. I read anything I can get my hands on it. And in Persian classic poetry, when you speak of the self, mirror is a 700-800 years old established metaphor. You cannot speak of self without remembering mirror. So for me, it was obvious that I have to bring the mirror, you know. And then I tell you a little secret that Robert Zemeckis in the movie Contact did this shot that in cinema is called impossible mirror shot. You know, that camera goes toward the mirror, and it's a crazy, beautiful shot. But it's very gimmicky in that film because you have nothing to do with anything in that film. It's like, it's just a technical show-off. So for me, it was like Robert saying, Robert, we're friends.
Well, he lives nearby.
So he did it in that movie, and my reading was that he really didn't know what to do with it. He put it out there saying, hey guys, use it, right? So I borrowed that shot, brought it here. So as soon as self-negotiation begins, Reza appears through the mirror, and then and we dive through the mirror. And when Ali is ready to face the world, we come out of the mirror.
Yes.
So the entire film, the second act of the film, happens in the reflection. So I thought it's...
And when he's ready to deal with the turmoil, he comes out of the mirror.
We come to this side. So in a way, it's a self-reflection. So it was appropriate.
On the same vein, tell us about the out-of-focus moments. There is the very poignant moment when Ali does a confession, and then you blur the image. And which actually, I mean, to me, I was interpreting that you're giving refuge to the painful revelation, but it's open to interpretation.
So, that scene, I wrote it way later. We were already in financing when I added that scene, and when I handed it to my French producer, nobody wanted to talk about that scene, and the only thing they came to me and say, "Do you really want to do this?"
But what was the taboo about it?
I mean, this movie is very close to my heart because many parts of it is based on truths and what happened to me and my sisters and my mom, and all of that. So I don't show this movie to my family at all.
You have not?
No, I cannot show this. They will recognize.
But you did not kill your father.
Not yet.
Okay.
I just
maybe
say,
this
don't
is like
say never, right?
Maybe he should watch the film so he fixes his ways.
No.
Go ahead.
I love you, Dad, if you can say. I do love it. Now I do. I'm older enough to understand his childhood, right? And that's the movie. This is me coming to terms with that complicated love. But I lost the trend of my thoughts.
It was about the out of focus during the confession.
I wrote that confession scene because it's something that had happened to me. I had never shared with anyone, and now I was suddenly sharing with the world. And my actor, acting coach, wonderful actor, but he was death scared of this scene. And this scene can go 1,000 different ways.
Yes.
It can be crying, it can be overacting, it's, you break down, etc., etc. And I talked to him about the work of Primo Levi. If you're familiar with his work, he was a Holocaust survivor who speak of the tragedies in a very prescriptive way. There is no emotion in it, right? And as the old Chinese saying goes, the one who has seen does not speak. The one who speaks has not seen. So
Yeah.
to me, that was the inspiration to tell him that let's go prescriptive, right? You have gone through it. Now we can talk about it. I'm just going to play very honest. No more mirror tricks, nothing. So I put the camera right in front of him, as I just described. And as he was moving, for a second he moved forward and his eyes went out of the focus. When I told that story to a couple of friends, I realized that, okay, you're here, you're holding space for me, but I don't want you to look me in the eye.
Yeah.
So when he moved forward, I thought, I cannot see his eyes, and that's beautiful. Like, it's a dignified space.
Yeah.
So I proposed to my cinematographer and my niece, let's do this. And they were like, no way. Nobody has done this in cinema for 35 seconds out of focus in a medium shot. Is scary. And I get it. Finally, we did it. And he leans forward. And here is the beauty for me, that I do not pull the focus. It's him leaning forward. So the choice is his.
Correct.
The ethic is correct. I am not forcing anything as a director. He moves forward, goes out of the focus, and once he connects the dots and comes to clarity, then me as a director follow his clarity, and then the full focus. So to me, that was dignified and ethical position in that moment.
But also it ties, I teach film. I think I briefly mentioned this to you, and it's like the choices that you make as a filmmaker should be tied to the themes and the ideas, and the fact that it goes out of focus. It ties to what you're trying to accomplish, which leads me to my next question about the switch, which is, you talk about, we've never seen this in cinema. I was floored when I saw it because I felt like I was Ali. I felt alienated and discombobulated, and then all of a sudden I said, fuck, that's the way that Ali is supposed to feel, and that's what you're doing. You pulled the rug from underneath us, and I know you guys were discombobulated for a while going, what's going on? But that's the way Ali is feeling, right?
So again, it goes back to me being a bit mischievous cinephile, that when we've done this kind of double ganger in cinema, it's usually like an Edward Norton type who imagines a Brad Pitt, and somewhere toward the end, we have a series of flashbacks that explains to us that, hey, by the way, the other one does not exist. But here, to me, the agency of the destructive side is very potent. So I thought, what if they exist on the same plane of reality? And then I shifted without explaining it. And I believe the audience are smart enough to come in. All right, in that moment that I pull the rug, there is a sense of disorientation. Now, when nowadays we watch movies, like you watch a TV series or anything, they treat us like we are drug junkies.
Yes.
A little dopamine here, a little dopamine here, sex, nudity, explosions, killing, blood, anything that they can hold you, right? So I thought, let me confuse them for 10 seconds. And then
longer than 10 seconds, but yes, yeah. Maybe if you're super smart for 10 seconds, but yeah,
like a minute.
I'm teasing you. You're amazing. Go ahead.
A minute or two, and then I'm telling them, leave. You want to leave, that's your chance to leave. If you want to come back, now you have to work for it.
Yes.
Now, in that decision to stay, to come back to the film, there is a space created. Now, call it a Brechtian space, call it whatever. But now it's you wanting to be part of this film, you wanting to finish this film. That means you're no longer a consumer. You are a creative participant. So now the film is formed somewhere between me as an artist and you as an audience.
Correct.
We together finish this film.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
longer I hold the answers. You're equally part of the process of this film.
And also what's brilliant about that is that the movie is working on the metaphysical way, and then all of a sudden that metaphysical aspect, you make it literal for us.
I mean, I should invite you to all my Q&As. Really. You should. You're amazing.
Well, no, you are
No,
amazing.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
But again, it's parts of it for me is to create a platform that has enough gaps, not too much to completely alienate, but enough gaps that the audience can come in and fill those gaps on their own and make a film that is their films, you know. And when I do that, I try to make sure that these gaps exist on various levels,
And
on a literal, metaphysical, you know.
And the beauty about the narrative and the way you explain it is that this is a very complex subject. And for you as a filmmaker to approach it in a sort of direct way, the narrative mirrors the complexity of the subject matter.
So let me put it this way. This movie is about a man who have a simple narrative. I went to America, I read 4 books, and now I wash dishes, therefore I'm a feminist. You know, I've done my work, right?
And I'm into human rights now.
Yeah, yeah. So he thinks he's done his job. And as soon as the mom dies, you know, and female narratives
Are
starts
challenging
coming
his
in.
narrative. Yeah.
And this, as soon as the female narrative arrives, cracks in his narrative opens.
Which we see the cracks in the house when he walks in to check out his mom's house.
And then Reza appears through the cracks and tells him, I hold up to your story. It's a simple story, but we love it. We love simple story. Let's make Ali great again, right? Let's hold him together. This is the politics of simple stories. They sell you this simple story, and they don't tell you how they're going to do it. More narrative comes, more female narrative comes, and Ali has to let go of this simple narrative and build one that is more expansive, more exclusive, and more nuanced and complex, and doesn't have all the answers. That's why when the wife asks him, did your mom tell you bedside stories?
Yes.
He says, Mom
No.
didn't like bedside stories. He liked riddles,
Yeah.
which with Turkish is bilmecek, which is that which you do not know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that which you do not know. That's life. Life is messy.
Which I need to go back to the pivotal scene in my book with him teaching in the classroom where he talks about Rajam. Is it Rajam?
Rajam.
Rajam, where it might mean to kill, but he explains that it could also be transformation. It could also be inheritance, which, you know, addresses the circle of trauma in the film. You know, tell us about that scene and Rajam.
So the word tarjuma, which used in Arabic, has been discussed to have various roots, but rajam is not one of them. The student is making a mistake, and that's why Ali is so pissed, saying, what does it have to do with our discussion? This is not an Arabic word. It's not coming from that. By the end of the film, now he's a much more mature person.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to be so literal and challenge, you know, young students. Now he says, let's assume you're right. That poetic reading, it's an interesting one. That in order to understand the world, you have to kill something and allow for a new concept to emerge. And that's what Ali goes through. He has to let go of the old world he knows and let a new Ali be born, you know, in that sense.
Tell us about the relationship between Ali and his dad. And I was in particular struck with the fact that the violence that comes from Hamid, the father, is about dominance, it's about destruction, and about control.
It's about control, yes.
And when it comes to Ali, when he does perform violence, it's about defense. It's about protecting himself. Tell us about the dynamic between the two men and their act of violence.
I think both of them are the classic definition of masculinity in crisis. Masculinity in crisis, to me, is a simple narrative and trying to control the other without, because you don't have to confront yourself. The father doesn't want to confront himself. Ali doesn't want to confront himself. Reza, same, right? The only ones who are willing to hold the life with both hands, with all its mysteries, are the women in the story.
Yeah.
And they are okay with the contradiction that life has.
Yeah.
Like on one hand, she really hates her dad. On the other hand, she loves the dad, and when she goes missing, she's fighting for it. The older sister, on one hand, knows what has happened, but on the other hand, is kind to the lover. The lover says condolences for your mom, but I'm looking, that's life. In my experience, life is fucking messy.
Yeah.
Right? But what do? You want to control every aspect of it? Right? Then I am Ali, then I am Hamid, then, all that things. Like Hamid tries to control even controls the narrative.
Yeah.
Hasn't told his children that your grandpa was violent man. He's told another lie to protect another man.
Correct.
Right?
But then Ali is his relationship with truth. One leads to violence, and then the other one leads with his wife when he finally comes. There's healing in him actually confronting his untruth with his wife.
When he realized that the narrative he has is too simple and he has to build a new narrative, a complex narrative, things goes in the right direction. Slowly goes in the right direction.
I have to see this film a second time. It's so freaking rich.
Thank you.
Traditionally, and I'm making a generalization, we're used to seeing stories about cycle of trauma and how patriarchy affects women. I've rarely seen a movie that deals about the effect on man, that patriarchy.
I didn't want to make a movie that focuses on the woman, because then I would be claiming that, oh my God, this bullshit we say about I want to be the voice for the voiceless bullshit. Like, I really absolutely hate that thing, because I believe that there is a voice. The question is, can you listen? Mm-hmm. Right? It's not that they don't have a voice. It's not you don't have an ear, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make that. I wanted to talk. This movie is about how honest can I go. So it had to be about a man and the experience that I could be honest about it. So I made it about a man, and also the effect, as you said, patriarchy has all on the man. We all participate in the patriarchy. Look at the United States of America, run by an old man. We do participate in it, men and women, and we are both subjected to it, men and women. And I wanted to show how the politics of the psychology works, and what the psychology of the politic, affect us, and how fragmented we become under that constant gaze of the old man.
Tell us about the fact that you're an Iranian filmmaker, but then you transpose the story onto Turkey, and preserving the narrative of we talked about a patriarchy in Turkey.
You could make this movie in any country, and it will be correct in terms of the patriarchy. Like, the world is a capitalist patriarch world, even in the countries that
Correct. Even capitalist countries like
pick
the
Sweden,
U.S.
Pick Sweden, pick Switzerland. The average wage of a woman for the same job is less than a man in Switzerland, right? So in terms of patriarchy, it would have worked anywhere. Now, I tried to make it in Iran because it's a country that I knew. I grew up there. I could relate to it, and I wanted to be honest. So I tried to make it there. And they asked me to censor. They said, don't kill the father, send him to a trip. I'm like, maybe not. And I didn't want to make it, quote unquote, illegally underground and then deliver the movie, quote unquote, in a cake out the country. I'm a cinephile. The shot matters to me. So I wanted to have some artistic engagement with the medium. That's why I took it to Turkey. And we spent a great deal of time making it and adopted. It was more than a rewrite. We adopted it to that cultural nuances in Turkey. I'm an indigenous person who speaks a dialect of Turkish, so that was an entry for me.
But personally, was it hard for you not to tell the story in Farsi?
Actually, there was a blessing in it because it is so painfully close to my heart that mediating it through another language allowed me a little bit of critical distance to tell the story. You know.
Brechtian.
Yeah. I can also tell, oh, it was heartbreaking because that sells. You know. But fuck that. No, it actually was easier.
Yeah, and tell us. We talked earlier about motifs and symbols, and the fact that we see images of Ataturk throughout the film, and the importance of that. I mean, it brings it. I mean, everything personal is political, and
you could not give me a better founding father than Ataturk on a symbolic level, because Ata means father and Turk means Turk. So this father of the nation. And his image is everywhere. Everybody asked me, did you add the flags? And we sincerely didn't have the budget for the flag. But when I walked to the university, I saw the flag. I said, go find that man, wine him and dine him to preserve the flag when we come back another month. You know, so we get the flag for free. You know, so the image is everywhere. You know, it's not, we didn't add it. So it worked very well for us. You know, it is there. And it helped me make the structure of patriarchy a little bit more visible. Right? In Turkey, it's a little bit more visible. In America, you have to look at the dollar bills in America to see it, right?
Yeah. The film starts with a dream and it ends with a nightmare. Tell us about this bookends, the dynamics.
I think it's, at the beginning, there is a woman telling a dream they had.
Yeah.
At the end, is a man inside that dream. Now it has turned to semi-nightmare, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's about the masculinity who now is expansive enough to let in some femininity. You know, that's how a masculinity, in my opinion, becomes grounded, right? Stabilizes in a way. And also, to me, it's about if we don't want to repeat the mistakes. I mean, look at America. We have so many great achievements that took us decades. Now it's unraveled over the night. And the reason for it is
temporarily.
Hopefully. But one thing I have learned is that destruction is easy, building is difficult. Yeah. You know, building this is going to be a difficult path for all of us in the United States. And this is precisely because we were not hospitable to the ghost of the past. We kicked them out. So when the knock was on the door, we didn't open the door. Ali has learned enough when to hear the knock, opens the door and lets the ghost come in, right? And that's the dream at the end, you know. Now he's ready to live and pay the cost for it. It's going to be a haunted house forever, right? But that's the ethical position, to live in the haunted house.
And he's willing to live with the ghost. That last knock, so he will open that door.
I hope he does. I hope he does.
Tell us about the switch. It happens halfway through, and I've only seen the film once, but you gave us little warnings, little red flags that the switch was about to happen.
To me, a good surprise, the one that hits you, is the one that was in plain sight and you knew it's coming.
Yeah.
But you didn't. Mm-hmm. So I had to give enough warning at the beginning, you know. And also, everybody thinks of me as a quote-unquote Iranian filmmaker. When you talk about Tarantino, he's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Right? But I am Iranian filmmaker. With that comes an expectation, you know. So I was aware of it, and I wanted to play it. I was like, You coming to watch an Iranian film? I give you one. It's a social family drama.
Yeah.
You come all the way in, right in the middle, and then I say, oh, here we go. I pull the rug. Now, and if you worked your way back to the film, I'll take you to places that you haven't been yet, right, with cinema. Let's go to new territories, to uncharted ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a little trick I played in terms of bringing you guys in, having that emotional investment, not to walk out.
And no hesitation on your behalf. I'm just going to pull the rug, and you come with me or fuck you.
More or less, you know. Because honestly, I am exhausted by having this constant expectation on me to make political bullshit movies, right? Fuck that. And one thing I'm certain about, to me, look at the festivals. If they put focus on a festival, like major festivals, I'm talking about Berlin, Cannes, Venice, TIFF. If they are putting too much emphasis on a country, they're going to bomb it soon. No, I have no doubts about it. Look what they did to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
If you guys remember, there were a lot of movies coming out of that place, and suddenly they started bombing too. So to me, stories come first, bombs follows. Ink spilled first, blood follows, right?
Wow.
So I have been resisting all my life to best of my capacity. I'm guilty as well, right? But I hate that expectation. So with this movie, I was like, fuck it. I'll show you guys that if you let me be a filmmaker, I'll take you to places you haven't been.
Correct.
You
And
know?
you took us to a place we'd never been.
But
And
that's the fun.
that period of discomfort and confusion, I don't recall experiencing that in a long time in the film. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you. I mean,
And the film, your film, last question, your film works in a, I mentioned metaphysical, it also works in an allegorical way, and it works on a psychological level. Where when you were writing the script and planning the film, all those levels you were, that's where you wanted to navigate the different levels.
Because I make a film every 7-8 years, I have enough time to go back and check everything, you know. So I rewrite. Things have to work on a plain level of reality, for sure.
Correct, yeah.
And then I go back and ask myself, if somebody wants to have a reading, do they have enough ingredients? This is how I look at it. Did I give them enough ingredients to play with it? Right?
Yeah.
And my rule is this, I give them at least 3 ingredients, 3 times, right? For example, with the sheep, we see the sheep 3 times,
Yes.
right? So now, in the Judeo-Christian tradition is the killing of Ishmael. But God sent 1 sheep, and Abraham made a deal and let go of the son. Here, I'm killing the father. God sends hundreds of the sheep to stop the car. And I said, no way, I'm killing the fucker.
Yeah.
So the second time when he goes and the grave is empty, the sheep are there. When they find the father from the well, from the dam, and the car is coming up, the sheep are running to that direction. There's a humor in there, but to me, if somebody goes and tries to connect the dots, they have the ingredients,
Yes.
right? So I really look at all of that. The question of the dog, the question of the pipes of the house, Ali's own pipes,
Yeah.
and also the garden's pipes, you know. So I at least try to put enough material for people from different walk of life, because
The digging that happens,
with
the digging of the
digging, you
well,
know.
the digging of the body. Yeah. It's-
So the movie takes 8 years. I don't want this to die in a year. You know, I'm hoping that there is enough gaps that 20 years later, somebody comes in and participates in the film. The film can be still refreshing and alive and kicking, you know.
Wow, you're brilliant, and I can't wait to see your next film.
Thank you so much.
I'm
You've been very generous with me.
No,
Thank you.
are you kidding me? You wanted to open it to the audience. You were not generous to me, but I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. They have plenty of questions, and we're gonna have a reception, and they'll come to you with them. I was just
Thank you
being.
so
I
much.
wanted all for myself.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
You've been such a patient person.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you so
here.
much.
Enjoy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.